You believing in God doesn't harm anybody.
So what if your wife goes to church?
I don't have an issue with going to church too. What I'm going to have an issue with is the things you do in church. Things like tithing, things like sowing seeds, going to your pastor to seek advice, to ask your pastor to pray for you. You shouldn't be doing that if you're going to be my papa.
If you don't believe in the supreme being, capital letter G-O-D, why are you listening to gospel song?
If you're going to condemn me for listening to Christian songs, you're going to condemn every Christian for listening to Davido and Whiskey and the rest. You know, religion mostly is built on fear. As a matter of fact, even the Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. There's no reason why, someone who you're supposed to call your father, would ask you to fear him.
This is the pilot episode of the much anticipated podcast In the Name of Danny. And my name is Daniel Alabi, not the other Daniel. Yes, aka Daniboy, and we are welcome in the name of Danny. And of course, he should be doing this, but I have the honors.
My name is Danny, aka Ajabo Danny. Welcome to our pilot episode.
All right. We don't have to beat around the bush. We already know why we are here. First off, we've had a lot of questions that have gone online on Danny's Twitter page and all other platforms. You just see daily when Danny posts, even when he's not posting, people are saying something about it. One of the widely asked questions is, do you believe in God?
Yes, I do. Do you?
Of course. Of course I do.
I believe in God. I believe in the existence of a supreme being, and that's just it.
Okay, let me ask, do you believe in the Christian God, or do you believe in Allah? Is it just that you just feel like God, there's a capital letter G God, there's a small letter G God, so
I my own belief, and I use the word belief because, it's not proven. We are all allowed to believe whatever we want, and that's okay. I believe there's a supreme being, because there's so much that we cannot explain. So I want to push all that unexplainable things to a supreme being. Like I said, there's no proof that a supreme being
exists. There's no proof
exists.
That a Christian God exists.
There's no proof that a Christian God exists, a Muslim God exists. There's no proof. It's just a belief.
Like every other person, we want to know, if you don't believe in God, at least you have to believe in devil or Satan or evil spirits.
But God is not the opposite of devil.
But devil exists.
Where did you see him?
Wait, you don't read your Bible?
I'm not sure what that has to do with anything.
How can your name be Daniel? Daniel means God is my judge. God is my judge. How can your name be Daniel and you don't believe in God? God is my judge. Were you born in the church?
Oh, I was born in the church. My parents are devoted Christians.
They are still Christians.
Oh, they are still Christians.
Your family, is a Christian family.
Everybody is a proper Christian. I was born in a proper Christian family. So I read my Bible. I went to church. I did fasting and prayers. I spoke in tongues. I was in the choir. I was an usher.
You were in the choir?
Yes. So I've done everything that, related to being a Christian.
So at what point did you stop going to church and stop believing that the Christian God exists?
I think it's just my quest to seek more knowledge about life.
Okay.
If a lot of people start or begin to seek more knowledge about life and ask more questions, a lot of your beliefs will be shaken.
So what year in particular did you stop going to church?
2020.
Why?
During the lockdown per se, we were made to stay at home. People couldn't go to church, But growing up in an African home, you're taught that every Sunday you have to be in church. As a matter of fact, in my house, in my family, it's a taboo to not go to church on Sunday.
Of course, why won't you go to church on Sunday?
So yeah, but during lockdown, we didn't go to church on Sundays and nobody died. So I feel like that whole COVID and lockdown just made everything a bit more clearer to me. Like, oh, so I can go to church and without any consequence. What else do I not know? What else have I been, misled to believe? So it made me start to read more about the church, read more about the Bible, read more about Jesus, and a lot of things became clearer. And I'm like, nah, Christianity is not it.
So if you don't believe in God, of course, I don't expect you to believe in Jesus. My brain is not braining right now because I need to understand something. You are saying that the Bible does not exist.
Oh, the Bible exists,
I mean, like the stories in the Bible, like Jesus being the Son of God, God being a supreme being, he wasn't created, he created the heavens and who created you?
I won't know for a fact, but I know my parents, had their own alone time, and yeah.
Is it not God that sends you from heaven? Like, I mean, I know you are watching now. You are in my mind. I'm asking the question that.
So let me help you out. You're worried about where I came from as a human, or where we all came from, before becoming humans. But I don't think we need to worry about that. If you worry about that, you're going to disturb yourself about heaven and hell, where you go. Focus on what you are now. We all came as a child, and we are growing to an adult. Leave what happened before. Leave what will happen after. Focus on your life now.
Now, this heaven and hell, it has come twice during our conversation. So, as Christians or as a Christian, yeah, I believe in an afterlife. Like when you, of course, my name is Daniel. God is my judge. That means there will be a last day for judgment, and then if you do well, if you are faithful,
I do not believe in the last day.
No, I'm saying my own this thing. There is a last day. You have to be judged. You have to go to heaven. Someone like you now that don't believe in God, you might just go to hell.
What's the date? What's the date of the last day?
Nobody knows. Even the angel in heaven don't know.
So you don't know about the last day, but you believe it exists.
Because it's in the Bible. I believe in Bible.
But the Bible is not a totally factual book.
How would you say it's not a totally factual book? Men of God wrote it with the inspiration of the Holy Spirit.
We don't have proof of that. The Bible is not a totally factual book. If we start to dissect the Bible, that's a whole another topic on its own. If you start to dissect the Bible, you see a lot of inconsistencies.
Nah, the Bible is perfect. The Bible is perfect.
How can the Bible be perfect?
The Bible is so perfect that there is no grammatical error in it.
No, I
despite
disagree.
The fact that it was translated from.
It's impossible to translate languages without changing the meanings. It's very impossible.
But you can still trace the meanings to the Latin or the Hebrew.
Yeah, but a lot of times we won't get the exact meaning. So if the Bible has been translated over and over again, a lot of the meanings have changed. A lot of the stories have been misinterpreted. And the Bible has a lot of stories without real people.
What do you mean by without real people?
For example, the book of Job talked about Job, and nobody can trace the history of Job. It's just in the Bible. So there are a lot of stories like that, in the Bible. Some were told as parables. They were told to help, give people a guideline, believe in God. Oh, God. A lot of those stories were not true.
So as it stands, you don't have a religion?
I believe my religion is humanity. We're on earth, to live and love. And that's my religion.
In a viral video on X that was posted, I think it has gone in other platforms. In fact, I see it on some church group. They are praying against you so vehemently in church. You have to go and wash your head, Danny. You said God didn't help you achieve your wealth. How is that even possible? The Bible says God giveth us power to make wealth. How will you say that God did not help you achieve your wealth? So who helped you?
I don't think you need a supreme being to help you achieve anything. If that works, I don't think we'll have poor people. If God helps people achieve things, because the most prayerful people in the church are usually the poorer set of people.
What do you mean? Am I poor? I pray now.
You're not prayerful. Are you prayerful?
I pray.
So if you go to most churches, if you check the prayer warriors, they're usually the poorer set of people, because the rich people don't have that time. The rich people are busy closing deals. They're in meetings.
But
They're not in the church.
There are rich people in the church too.
Oh, of course. There are a few exceptions who have refused to come out of the delusion of religion, but for the majority of Nigerians, it's the poor people who are in the church who pray the most. We shouldn't have this number of poverty in the country for a nation that prays and fasts so much. If our prayers work, we shouldn't have this number of poor people.
So you're sleeping and waking up. Who is responsible? Like, you don't even know the things that happen when you sleep. You don't know the battles that... I feel like quoting scripture, but I don't want to even be sounding like a pastor, because he said the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Like, those things that go up and down in the middle of the night, witches and wizards.
What goes up and down?
Who makes you sleep well, wake up well, if not God?
People sleep well. Even unbelievers sleep and wake up. Christians sleep and wake up. People sleep and wake up every day. That's the circle of life. You have to live. You have to love. You have to breathe in and out. That's how your body functions. It has nothing to do with God. It's just your body functioning the way the body is supposed to function.
So you've not heard of people that had sicknesses that even the deepest of medical facilities could not detect it, and some way, somehow, they were saved and they felt fine again? You've not heard of cases you've not heard of miracles happening to people's bodies?
I have. And I believe in miracles too. But I do not necessarily think they are from God.
So who does miracles then?
Who made the sickness that they are healing from?
Sickness came into being because of disobedience of man in the Garden of Eden.
So we're supposed to live sick-free, not die.
That was the plan from the start.
So you mean Adam is supposed to be alive till now?
Of course.
And Abraham is supposed to be alive. So Jesus is supposed to be alive.
Every of these things.
You cannot have reproduction without people dying.
Okay.
It's the circle of life.
Okay.
People need to go so that new ones can come.
But that was not like... Well, we'll come to that. There's this question that I have here. It was a very popular question. It was in the comment section. It says, I'm paraphrasing now. It said, what do you mean by make God go help people where they gather around my car for money, make it no help me?
So I said this before. I believe people who are poor are people who pray the most. So a lot of times when people come to my car, people begging for alms, they will usually say, God will give you a bigger car, God will bless you, so spare a little change, God is going to double your blessings. So I just stay there and wonder, like, if this your prayer holds water, why don't you pray for yourself? Why are you praying for me? If God answers your prayers, it means your prayer is useless to me. If God answers your prayer, you'll be praying for yourself. It should be working for you. So I would rather pray for yourself. Let God help you. Don't pray for me.
You guys, you've heard it. Danny Water does not believe that prayers hold water. You mentioned that you are from a Christian family. Your parents are still Christians.
Yes.
Now, there's one thing we always believe in, that our mom's prayer keeps us going. At least me, I believe in it. Your mom prays for you. I'm sure she prays for you.
She does.
Do you think those prayers work for you?
I know. Personally, I would not go. I would not tell her to stop, because that's what makes her happy. But I do not think it has any effect on me. So if she wants to, that's fine with me.
Still talking about your family, what do they think about you not believing in capital letter God?
Of course, no parents will take that lightly, but I think everybody will be fine eventually.
I really want to go deep in some way. Like, if you are going, I know you are not married, but you're probably seeing someone or something. However, that story is.
Yeah.
What if the person you are seeing or wants to get married to believes in God?
I don't think I have an issue, with people believing in God. Because you believing in God doesn't harm anybody.
So what if your wife goes to church?
I don't have an issue with going to church too. Because the church is much more than praising God. You can also connect with other people. I think I'm okay with that. What I'm going to have an issue with is the things you do in church. Things like tithing. I'll have a problem with it. Things like sowing seeds. I'm going to have a problem with it. Going to your pastor to seek advice, to ask your pastor to pray for you. Those things you shouldn't be doing that if you're going to be my partner.
You are just a different breed from every one of us.
I know.
Okay. On Twitter, you tweeted, this is your exact tweet: Nathaniel's Ebenezer is the only gospel song on my playlist. Suggest one gospel song I can add to my playlist. If you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in the supreme being, capital letter God, why are you listening to gospel song? When gospel songs are for Christians, they have Christian lyrics, they have Jesus in it. So explain that. I'm not understanding. Speaking loud.
I think music is universal. Anybody can listen to anything. If you're going to condemn me for listening to Christian songs, you're going to condemn every Christian for listening to Davido and Wizkid and the rest. It means, okay, stick to Christian songs. Since you don't believe in the world, you don't believe in vanity, don't listen to worldly songs. Stick to just Christian songs. But music is music. No matter what it says, music is music. It's going to make sense in your ears. If you love the sound, if you can relate to the sound, you're going to love the music, whether they are singing for imam or whatever.
There's somebody in the Bible that is doing like you, that did like you rather. His
Saul.
name is Saul. I'm glad you know. It shows that you.
I've heard that a lot.
Now listen, Saul was persecuting Christians in the Bible. On his way to Damascus, he now had this shining light on his face. It was so dramatic. I'm just picturing it in my head like Nollywood. You did not read my book of Bible stories. Now, just imagine that you have an encounter where God just shine a bright light in your eyes, or like maybe he speaks to you, he just calls your name, Daniel, Daniel, Daniel. This is the Lord of God, heaven and earth. I need you to change your ways. What do you think is going to change your perspective about this whole thing?
I'll first think about it if I'm hallucinating, because it could be hallucination. A lot of people who claim they heard God could be hallucinating or hearing things. Those ones are backed by science. It's backed by medicine. You can actually hear voices. It's backed by science. It doesn't need to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be spiritual. I've gotten very drunk, at some point where I started hearing voices.
That one is the voice of the devil. There's nothing you can tell. But the problem is you don't even believe that the
voices
devil
is voices.
Okay.
I think most of those characters are just imaginary. Devil, demons. I think they're imaginary characters.
God, I beg, I know they. I don't talk. I'm separate. I know me, my own Daniel, believe in God. I believe. Let me move on. Anyway, this should be like one of the last things I will be saying.
Yeah,
it's just about people that feel like something bad would happen to you, then you would, have a change of life and all of that. I don't know what do you have to say about that, because I see it so much in your comment section. Some people quote you, they say one day you will agree, one day. What do you think? And people that say your money will finish, or you have an ailment where your money would not be able to cater for it, like, what do you have to say about that?
Religion mostly is built on fear. So a lot of the things. As a matter of fact, even the Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. There's no reason why, someone who you're supposed to call your father, would ask you to fear him. You're not the fear of God is not supposed to be the
It's
beginning
not that
of
type
wisdom.
of fear. It's not like you see me and
kind
say,
of fear?
hey. Like when you fear somebody, you respect them, you keep their commandments, you obey them. That's the kind of fear. It's not like you see me and say,
No, obedience comes from respect. When you respect someone, you obey them, not just because you fear them. If you have to fear someone you call your father, then there's something wrong somewhere. So when you talk about people saying at some point something bad is going to happen, because I don't believe in God, a lot of bad things are already happening to you that believe in God. So who is responsible for that?
life is not a roller coaster.
Exactly.
There's up and down.
So it can happen to anybody. It has nothing to do with God.
God will save you now.
Why has God not saved us in this country yet? A lot of people are suffering.
The Bible says, I'll be merciful to those I'll be merciful upon.
So God is partial.
He's not partial. He is all-knowing. He knows what he's doing.
Does he?
He knows what he's doing. And that is why sometimes you are moving from a state of poor predicament to a state of a rich predicament. You understand? So he knows what he's doing. And at the right time, he's going to... The truth is, even if there is no God, but I feel like God even made a lot of things easier and simpler for people. But even if there is no God, it's not everybody that is going to be rich, or it's not everybody that is going to have good health and all of that. But exactly. God is involved to make sure that gives you peace.
That particular statement, solidifies the fact that, God has nothing to do with being poor or rich. That's not in his hands. It's in your own hands as a human being. Every decision, every choice you've made, from the school you went to, the location you reside in, it affects your turnout as a human being. Every single decision you make. It has nothing to do with how much you pray. It has nothing to do with how often you go to church. It's your actions. What you do will come back.
I don't think this man is ready to change his mind anytime soon. There are some people that you cannot even preach to.
I want to change your own mind.
You cannot change my mind. Because me, I want to go to heaven.
Okay. Let's remove heaven out of the equation. Will you still be a Christian? Will you still be devoted?
Even on earth.
Because I feel like a lot of people are Christians because they either want to go to heaven or they're scared of hell.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm not an overly religious person. Trust me, I am not. Most people that know me outside of this podcast, they know that I am not an overly religious person. As a matter of fact, it will take God's grace. Honestly, I'm just being realistic now. It will take God's grace, in quotes, for me to make it to heaven. Because you need to be perfect.
It will take God's grace for anybody to make it to heaven.
Exact. I'm glad you said that. Damn it, I'm beginning to convert this man. Listen, you have, even if there is no heavenly grace here, you still need God. There are some decisions you will not take outside God.
First of all, if the Bible is anything to go by, none of us will make it to the imaginary heaven.
There's a real heaven. There's a real heaven.
So wait,
you
believe that there's one place under us now that fire is burning?
It might not be. It's not on. It
Who
might
is
not be
supplying
under
them
us.
fuel?
Listen.
In this scarcity.
Listen. The Bible mentioned fire and brimstones.
Who is supplying them fuel?
Even the fuel and everything. God made it now.
How? No, God did not make fuel. Fuel is man-made.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
There was no fuel then.
Because humans, God has given humans knowledge. It's God that gave them knowledge
humans
to be able to process this.
If you notice, a lot of things in the Bible, were made and described with the things that were available then. There was no mention of cars in the Bible. There was no mention of fuel in the Bible.
Because humans
Because
evolved.
those are things that even the Bible in Revelation mentioned when it was describing the last day in Revelation. The Bible made mention of angels holding trumpets and the seals open. A lot of these things and these descriptions came as a result of the things and equipment that were available then. The trumpet was made by a human, not by God. I don't know why angels will use trumpet on the last day. Trumpet is man-made. Trumpet wasn't made by angels. It was made by man in 2000 BC.
So you are saying that angels
the
came
reason
from
why-
heaven to earth to go to Alaba and buy
The
trumpet and
reason
they
why
blow on last
in
day.
Revelation there was no use of iPad or iPhone or tablet in Revelation.
There was
Because it didn't
tablet.
exist then.
There was tablet. It was
It
not
was
just
a stone
digitalized.
tablet.
Exactly. Tablet is tablet.
The stone tablet was even during Moses. People
Yes.
had evolved past stone tablet by Revelation. So they were using scrolls now and seals.
Yes.
The reason why there was no iPad then, in whoever was doing the narration of Revelation, isn't there was no iPad and iPhone there because it did not exist then. So the whole concept of Revelation came as a result of what existed then. That means the idea of heaven is false. Bible needs to be updated. Whoever got the revelation, more people needs to get new revelation. So we can know if heaven have updated to Apple iPad or Samsung. We need to know because the Bible heaven cannot keep using scrolls and seals that they used in 2000 BC and trumpets. You don't need trumpets when we have loudspeakers now. There was no loudspeaker then. There was no mic then.
I feel like you just define my mouth. Okay, let's say Indians now or other religions. Even in Nigeria, there are people that believe in like Ogun, Shango, Obatala, Amadioha. You know, some Indians believe in Buddhism.
Yeah.
There are other religions around the world. And everybody thinks their God is supreme. Meaning that even if you don't believe in the Christian God, you believe in the Muslim God, Allah, or you believe in the Buddhist, or you believe in Shango, Ogun. Are you saying Shango, Ogun, Obatala? Let's know the people that will gather and debate your meeting in the heavenly places.
Like
or in
I
the
said,
spiritual realm.
all this are belief. And there's a reason why people keep using belief. If you check the definition of belief, it means your stand on something that does not exist. You're acknowledging something that there is no proof. That's why it's called belief. If there is proof, it becomes a fact. You no longer need to believe. I don't believe iPhone exists. I know iPhone exists because I can see it.
But I know God exists.
You've not seen him. You
he
can't
has
say you
spoken
know.
to me before.
No.
He has helped me make the right
There's no
decisions
proof
before.
that voice you heard was God's.
How is there no proof? Because it turned out well.
So what of the things that turns out bad in your life? Who made those ones happen?
Some of those things even happen because God is setting a pattern for greatness for you.
I feel like it's very manipulative to channel everything good and give it as testimonies in the church and say, "Oh, I got the job and it's God." What of the other 5 interviews you didn't get? Who was responsible for that? You were at an interview with like 10 persons and maybe one person goes to church to celebrate. Oh, I got the job. I'm giving my testimony. So the 9 persons, are you saying God hates them?
They will also get their own.
But what if they don't?
They will. They will definitely
Everybody cannot be employed in the country. We have a very high employment
God's
rate.
time is perfect. And the reason we suffer in Nigeria is because God has helped our leaders to be in a position that they should be in, but they are not doing what they are supposed to do as humans. That is not on God. Because he has given us the resources.
There's nothing on God, to be honest. We are supposed to figure things out on our own. That is why inventions come, with updates every year. The iPhone will release a new version each year to update what they have existing. This has nothing to do with God. If you do not figure it out on your own, if we do not figure out how to make planes fly, we will still be using camels and horses.
But God gave us the brain.
Why didn't God give them then?
Because humans evolve. What we have these days is even different from what we had like 10 years, 20.
Evolution. You're supporting the concept of evolution.
Humans evolve because of the knowledge God gave to them. All good and perfect gift comes from God.
There is no proof that God gave humans this knowledge.
God,
Humans have
prove
this
man
knowledge.
wrong. Prove this tonight when he sleeps. I want you to
I'll still wake up tomorrow.
You will wake up.
I'll wake up.
You wake up, but you wake up to the revelation of God.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Your name is Daniel, Christian Bible name. Oh, you say you not believe in God. Change your name then. Christians tithe. In fact, Muslims believe in giving alms. They believe in doing charity. Even other religions offer sacrifice. They throw different alms on the way just to give.
Yeah.
And I know you are more accustomed to the Christian background. So do you believe in Christian tithing?
Tithing is a very, very complex topic. I don't think we can handle now. I think in subsequent episodes we will, or in a later episode, we'll pick out just tithing and deliberate on that particularly, because tithing is a very, very complex topic. It's been debated over and over and over. So I think we are going to do tithing on its own.